All right, Nadia, let's talk about building the grip.
Okay.
How do you hold the gun? There it comes down to two pieces, position and pressure. First piece is positioning your hands properly on the firearm, and then the second half of that equation, or the other side of that coin, is how hard are you holding and what are you doing to achieve the correct grip pressure.
Ah, okay.
So we start with position, we build into pressure, okay? So as we've done with dry fire, we touch high, we curl under, we establish a solid master firing grip on the gun as soon as possible. We levitate, we rotate, we anchor to us. So if we look at the way our hand is positioned right now, straight finger, 3 fingers below, thumb shouldn't be too low, it should be about 45 high. Super high is super uncomfortable, so not, resting high position is where we want that hand, generally speaking. However, let's do this. Let's send the slide forward. And now let's take a look from the top down, view from the top down. There's 3 things we're looking for in grip position with both hands: high, tight, and even.
Okay.
The first thing we want to do is make sure we have a high grip on the gun. We do not want a gap back here. Any gap is very bad. It's going to mitigate or eliminate a lot of recoil management. So we need to make sure we have a high grip. The next part is tight. We don't want a gap here. We also don't want a gap here below the trigger guard. So we want these 3 fingers tight underneath and tight together underneath the trigger guard. And the third piece is even. We want relatively even knuckles on either side of the slide, high, tight, and even. What that means is as recoil happens, and I will rack the slide, you'll notice that my wrist stays straight.
Yes.
But a new shooter error that is very common is instead of properly picking the gun up, they will overgrip, thereby side grabbing the gun, and now my knuckle is under. Okay, see how my knuckle is now under?
It's not even.
Exactly. Now watch what happens with recoil. If I have side grabbed the gun, it's all in my wrist.
Yeah.
It's going to be very uncomfortable, and that's where you start feeling some wrist discomfort, maybe some joint pain, and it's just not going to be fun to shoot. A weak grip will induce a stovepipe malfunction. All right?
Okay.
And that's a problem. It's a problem you can mitigate with the correct grip.
Got it.
So high, tight, and even with our firing hand. Now we need to recreate high, tight, and even with our support hand.
Okay.
So we keep all 4 fingers together. We'll level the gun. We're going to take our thumb. We're going to rub. See that point where you're rubbing? You can feel that right behind that knuckle. That's where you want the trigger guard to be.
Okay.
That's the touch point for the trigger guard. So you're going to come up underneath, let that spot snuggle right up under the trigger guard, and you're going to let those 4 little digits just hug. Now make sure your firing hand thumb is flagged high so that you can now press your palm below it against the frame and then rest your thumbs relaxed along the side. So now if we look at this from a high, tight, and even, we want high, again, under the trigger guard. We want tight below that thumb, and we want even fingers. So if I look down to the top, you will notice your trigger fingernail and your support hand thumbnail are even, and they match. High, tight, and even.
High, tight, and even.
Exactly, with both hands. That's how you construct a firing hand and support hand or 2-handed grip correctly on a semi-automatic.
Okay.
Now, there's people who will tell you that your thumb is high and that you could get cut. I have not seen it ever happen.
Right.
I don't know where that comes from. And they will try to tell you to get a lower grip on the gun, meaning get this thumb farther back and farther away.
Right.
So let's do this. Let's lock the slide back, and we'll discuss the second half of this equation, which is pressure. So part of the reason we have our hands correctly built on the gun, so go ahead and make pew-pew hands.
Pew-pew.
Then give it a hug, and then snuggle in place, and make sure that thumb is rocked forward. And then your firing hand thumb can rest on top, all right? This is that same, if I were to open your palms up, I could drop a gun in right now.
Yes.
All right? This is your pew-pew grip. It's the technical term.
I like that.
All right, pew-pew grip. So what we're gonna do now is I just want you to open up your support hand and take it away, and then open up your firing hand. And see, now we got Barbie doll arms. Now, it's funny, but it works, right?
Yes.
Straight wrists.
Yes.
Now grip and relax. See how strong that is? Now do this. Flag your thumbs forward, fingertips down, and feel grip. See how weak that feels?
Very weak.
Now come back to center and crush. right? We get maximum strength. We're using all our forearm muscles. Now flag your thumbs towards you, fingertips high, and crush. See how weak that feels.
So
what
feel
we
good
want,
on the wrists.
yeah, and you're not activating all those compression muscles in your forearms, which is what is lending strength to your grip. So the alignment of our hands on the gun in this position are to completely encapsulate the grip with us, leaving no gaps and no holes, and to set our bodies up for maximum compression strength. That's what we're doing. So it's twofold here. So now how hard are you holding on to the gun with your firing hand? Go ahead and shake.
That hard?
Right, how hard?
That,
right?
yeah.
But believe it or not, that's not your gun grip. So go ahead and face me. All right? So when people say, how hard do you hold on to the gun? Well, handshake grip. Right? Okay.
Yeah.
That's neat. But feel all the muscles you're using all the way up to your shoulder? That's not your...
I'm flexing.
Yeah, yes, muscles.
Yeah.
So now what I'm going to have you do is recreate your firing grip. Raise your thumb and point your finger. See how it completely changes. Everything is different structurally. You feel all the muscles down here in your forearm? It's the same flex muscles as what we did with Barbie doll arms. So now go ahead and grip. Your grip exists between these 3 fingers and the back wall of your palm. So you're going to be taking the blade of my palm with these 3 fingers and bringing it back to you without pulling. That is your firing hand grip on the gun. Now you should be able to set those pressures and gently tap without relaxing that grip. And that's where people will, what's called anticipating the shot, is right before they go to think the gun's gonna go boom right now, they're on the trigger, their whole hand relaxes, and then their whole hand takes the shot. It's like their whole hand is trying to compress that trigger. So we need to set the grip pressures, relaxed thumb, delicate trigger finger, but firm, assertive 3-finger hold, so that that trigger finger can move independently. That's the pressure of the firing hand. It's easier to show you without a gun than with a gun in hand. All right? So what we're functionally doing, let's go ahead and pick this firearm up, levitate, rotate, and we'll anchor straight. Right here with a high, tight, and even grip, go ahead and feel the back pads of these fingers crushing the front of the grip back into your palm. Feel how strong that feels? Good. Now your support hand is actually going to come into position. And then you're going to press the backs of those fingertips against, and the meaty part of your palm is going to reciprocate and push in. So it's press and press, like you're taking the 2 halves of the grip and you're trying to bring them together in the middle. Okay? So this hand does not want to just hang out and look cute, right? Well, the firing hand does all the work. The firing hand is front to back pressure. The support hand is side to side pressure. And because you have the correct angle in your wrist, you're able to activate all those compression muscles in your forearms.
So you said firing hand, front to back, support hand, side to side.
Correct.
Okay.
They each have a job.
Yes.
Now, one thing we often see, and you are correctly in position, is an incorrectly positioned support hand. And what that can mean is I'm going to make your hands wrong, right? Even backed up that far, we're too high. Now, everyone's hands are different. So I'm not going to tell you that might not be the correct position for someone else's hands, but on you it would be less optimal. All right? So what I'll do is I'll reposition that person, correct? Now, I like to show people high, tight, and even first because these 2 digits will match and you'll have a visual cue without me having to draw on you. But the little tick marks are another visual reference line for people who are struggling, and we'll position the hands and then just give 2 small tick marks so that as you bring your body up to the gun, that's another neat, easy way to make sure you're correctly on. So building the grip, 2 halves, position and pressure. You know now why they go where they go and what their roles and responsibilities are. Excellent. Go ahead and bench the gun. Any questions about that?
No.
Aren't they beautiful?
It's so cute. I might keep these forever.
Everybody jokes they're going to get them tattooed. I have yet to see it. We'll see.
That'd be interesting.
It would be pretty fun. Well, I think we've covered all of the basic things we need to, familiarizing you with the load and make ready procedures, safety, handling, sights and triggers, grip position and pressures. I'm ready to add some ammo.
Oh, let's do it.
All right.